Hey guys, Livvy here. Welcome back to the channel. Hopefully in about 48 hours, I should have some baby chicks hatching out. I'm super excited about it. They've been sitting in the incubator for about 3 weeks. And so I am looking forward to adding to my laying flock. These are eggs that I actually got from my chickens. I have a rooster in there, Russell Crowe, who has been definitely fertilizing them with the chicks there, but I am not sure if I am going to have any success. I've been using an incubator that I used last year that just kind of some cheap knockoff kind of thing, and it did really well actually I say really well, it didn't do the most amazing. I had about a 50% hatch rate, but there were some other variables in there that could have affected it. But this time round, I have put 9 chicken eggs in them. I'm pretty positive when I candled them, they looked like there was something there. You know, you get the veining. So hopefully nothing has happened between now and then. I'm pretty sure that maybe 1 or 2 did not make it, and that's okay. You know, if I got 9 chickens, that would have been quite a lot, especially if you're expecting like 50% to be roosters. That's a lot of roosters to deal with. So I went out and I got some chick feed. I have some pine shavings. I need to get their water and their feeder and clean that all up because it's been sitting outside for about 18 months, actually no, nearly 2 years. That's a long time. So I need to get them all sorted and ready to go for these baby chicks that I'm expecting. I don't know how many I'm going to get. I know definitely that 1 candled really well, and so I'm like, surely that should, you know, that should equal a chick, but you know, don't count your chickens before they hatch. And also, all of my eggs are really dark. So I think the 2 blues that I put in there, I think that I could see some veining in there, but the other ones, it's like near impossible because they're so dark. Fingers crossed everything works out. We're at day 20 today. So, you know, as long as the temperature's been right and humidity's not too crazy, which it's an older incubator, fingers crossed. I'm really excited for it, but I really need to get everything ready. So I thought I would pull it all out. I'll show you what I've got, show you what I plan on doing with it. And kind of where I'm thinking of putting it so that when the chicks start hatching, it can be ready to go. Let me show you everything that I am going to use this time around for starting the chicks. This is a really simple and basic setup. I don't do anything fancy. This is only my 2nd time doing it too, so it's not like I have crazy amount of experience, but I definitely have learned some stuff from doing it my last time round. Now, I have this giant box, which I think is probably the most important thing to have. It doesn't have to be a plastic container like this. You can use a multitude of different things. I've seen people use cardboard boxes, wooden boxes, people using metal cages and things, whatever is easiest for you. This was the cheapest option for me, this giant container. And it has 2 purposes. 1, to house the chicks, and 2, all of this stuff when it's not in use is supposed to be in here. I store everything upstairs in my ceiling because I don't use this often enough to justify having it out. I don't have a big house, I don't have a lot of storage, so that's where it ends up. It's part of the reason that I got it. Also with my lid, a lot of people will put holes in their lid, and that is allowing the chicks to breathe, get some fresh air in there, but it's also stopping them from jumping out or things falling in. I purposely don't do that, and that's because I store it also. Because I use this for more than one thing, logically it just makes sense to me that I have everything safely put away. There's no holes for anything to fall through, like spiders, because there's spiders in my ceiling, which, ugh. I don't want spiders in there, and also dust and things. It's just a lot easier to keep clean. And I'm pretty sure that if you're drilling holes into the plastic, you're losing the integrity of it, so nothing can be stored on top of it without breaking the lid. And then you don't have a lid. That sucks. So this is the one that I'm going to be using for my chicks. It's really durable. When I packed it away last time, I made sure to disinfect it. Really gave it a good scrubbing, disinfected it. I was pretty satisfied with the clean, and I've already done a wipe down of it, so it's got no dust or anything. This is something else that is super important to have, which is chick starter. You need special food for chicks than you do with growing and then with laying chickens, so it's something to pay attention to. Also, if you're doing things like turkeys and quails, they have different feeds as well. You need to check. I don't know the specifics with them. I just know that at Pet Barn, which is where I picked this up from, they did have different options for starting game, which I didn't even know was a thing. This chick starter was pretty cheap. I didn't buy it from my local feed store because I wasn't near the area, but also Chick Feed and the one that they have and the one that was up this pet store was exactly the same. So this was a little bit cheaper. I picked it up, but all my growing and all my laying mixes, I pick it up from the local store because they have a local, what do you call it? They have a local provider of these grains, and the quality is 20 times better than what I find at any pet store. The price is a little bit more expensive, but I can justify that when the quality of my chick feed is that much more. So this is a starter. They will be on it for quite a couple of weeks. So I picked up one bag because I don't know how many chicks are gonna hatch. If I have like 2 chicks that hatch, this is gonna be far too much for them. So I just picked up one bag. If I need any more, I'll go to the local store. The other thing that you need to make sure that you have is a heat lamp. Chicks do not have the ability to regulate their temperature, so more often than not, they're gonna run cold depending on the temperature of your house. They need to have the option of a heat lamp, and you can tell what temperature they need based on how they react to the heat. If they're under it and really, really huddled, then they need a bit more heat and you can lower it, but if they're staying far away from it, you need to raise it to allow more of the temperature. So there are a few tips and tricks which I can totally show you once I have chicks. But this is something that I picked up from my local feed store back when I did it last 2 years ago. It's a pretty nice one. It is something that's a little bit more spendy to buy, but because I planned on doing more than one round of chicks, I decided to invest in one. Now inside of it, I have not claimed it, that's next on my list, is a heat bulb. This is something that you can get probably from a pet store, and you can get it from Amazon. It's for like lizards and other reptiles, which it's really good quality. It is something that you need to be really careful with because if you bang it around, it will smash. It's not really meant for that, so I am trying to be as careful as possible with it. Now the way I set this up in the tub is I actually have a microphone stand that my husband has for his many musical endeavors. So I just hook it up, wrap it around, and I put it over this. So I'm missing the stand, I don't have it here with me, and I'm also missing the extension cord to plug this in. But I will get that when the chicks are actually born because I don't want to set the heat lamp up where it could get broken. Now you saw me cleaning these. These are the feed and waterer. I picked these up from the local store 2 years ago. They work really darn good. They were supposed to be in my box when I finished with the chicks, but when I actually put the chicks outside, I continued to use them because I found them very, very good. And then I kind of left them out there after the chicks were old enough to go into the main coop. So this year, hopefully, I'll be smarter and make sure they're in here so I don't have to rub spider webs from them. Ugh, I hate spiders. So, really simple. I didn't go for something crazy deep because chicks can be really dumb and they can drown themselves if there's too much water. I would change the chicks' water and feed probably about like twice a day depending on how messy they are, which again depends on how many chicks I end up with. So chicks will scratch everything and they will get food everywhere and they need pine shavings everywhere, so you have to be very vigilant in cleaning this out consistently because they need fresh water. It's important for their development, and the same with the feed. So this one is about 1.3 liters, and this one, I know I can see it written on there somewhere, is 1.5 kilos. So I won't actually fill this up all the way. I'm not expecting a huge amount of chicks. As you can see, it also can be hung up, which some people do so that they don't have to deal with pine shavings and things in it, but as they get bigger, I know people will hang it up so the chickens can actually peck in and less likely to poop in it, which poop's a problem when it comes to baby chicks. The final thing that you need, or at least that I'm going to use, is a newspaper. I'm actually going to line the bottom of my tub with it, and then I'm going to put everything on it. Now, you have to be super careful with using newspaper because chicks can slide pretty easy on it, and if you're noticing that the chicks are sliding, it can affect their legs as their development grows, and that's a really negative thing. So I am going to put it down, and if it doesn't work exactly the way that I want it to, I'll put the pine shavings down. It's there and it's ready to go. It's just more for that first like 24 to 48 hours. I was just thinking maybe it might be really helpful, and we'll see. But I'm definitely going to have a layer of newspaper on the very bottom anyway, and then I'll put pine shavings on top. That just makes cleanup so much easier. I learned from last year that I only put pine shavings in it, and it was a pain to clean up. It'd be so much easier if I could just take everything out, including the chicks, and then just kind of fold the newspaper up and then put that in a bag to throw it out, versus like having to scoop it out. And it was in a smaller room last time, so it was a whole thing. It was a bit tricky to keep clean, so that's kind of the reason for it this time around.